All right. Good morning again, everybody. Well, now it's good afternoon. Um, we're going to come up and talk about some of the updates that we're finding out about the Charlie Kirk's unfortunate incident that happened yesterday. I'm gonna preface this by saying sorry that I had to shut off and come back on multiple times. I say this almost every. It seemed like it's becoming a common thing lately that um OBS has not been a great software for me to work with the last couple weeks. I'm not really sure because at one point in time it was like my go-to. I never had issues with it, and now all of a sudden just issue after issue after issue every day, every day, every day. But with that being said, we're going to go over some of the updates that's been found out about the potential suspect in the shooting of. Thank you for coming back, Killer Fox. I'm sorry I had to close out and come back in. OBS has been atrocious to work with. How you doing? Can you hear me now? Are you? Am I staticking this time, Killer Fox? Okay, perfect. Yeah, OBS has been atrocious. I've been trying to get it figured out, and it's funny because it was not like that. What before 2 weeks ago, and then all of a sudden, it's just software just went to hell. But yeah, there have been a couple updates on the potential shooter or the potential suspect in the shooting of Charlie Kirk yesterday. As you guys know that immediately after shooting, they apprehended a guy. They never said that he was a suspect, but I guess it was something that he did around that area that brought some attention to itself. And on top of that, he was making remarks about how he'd do it again. But I will say this: even though I saw that happen, nothing about that situation made me believe that he was the shooter. He was a older. Um, oh, you got some bad news today. What you got? What happened today? Oh, not more bad news. The day has just been this last 24 hour cycle has just been like messed up. Oh dang. Your sister had a miscarriage. How far along was she? I'm sorry to hear that, but how far along was she? I'm getting to the point in my life now that like I'm thinking about like family and kids and stuff too. So I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully, damn. Was it gonna be her first one? Damn it. So it's just tragedy just going on everywhere. Damn. Man, sometimes when stuff like this happens, the only thing that you can do is just think to yourself like, why? Like, what's going on? Like, dude, we're going to a crazy world. Going on in a crazy world. The food that we're eating is messing up our bodies. The government is messing up our lives. People we don't agree with want to take us out. Like, man, it's crazy, crazy times, crazy times. What's going on, Swamp Dad? Thanks for joining. I'll put your sister in my prayers. Hopefully, that she can bounce back and you guys can try again and she can get the blessing that they were trying for. Um, man, hopefully that it turns out to be okay for her, and I hope she gets the help and the comfort that she needs. What's going on, Harry daughter? All right, so even I'm gonna start off with this update, and come to find out, there's a even more recent update about the potential shooter. Um, Oh, it's okay. I mean, the vibes are already like the vibes are already in the depths. So I understand. I'm just sorry for you guys, for her and her family, and I hope she stay. I pray for her strength and hope that they can get through it. It's always hard to kind of like respond to not necessarily like death, but just like situations like that, especially as a person that like, if you've never been in that position to have to lose a child at 1 month or whenever, you don't really know the feeling, and the only thing you can do is just try to put yourself in that position. So, yeah, our prayers go out to her family as well as to Charlie Kirk's family and everybody else's family that's going through some turmoil and trying to get through it. So we'll hop into this update by Harris Faulkner. This was actually maybe an hour or more ago, and I also saw that there were even more updates. So we'll get through all those updates. And let's get into it. Going on
And we begin with this Fox News alert. We have new information on the manhunt for an assassin on the run in Utah. And you see on the left of your screen, Christian, young conservative leader, husband, dad, friend, Charlie Kirk, assassinated.
Yesterday.
And now the new details are firming up to catch that killer and bring him to justice.
How you doing, Seth?
We're getting a clearer picture of just how someone could escape that crowded scene on that college campus.
Yeah, I asked that question from the very beginning, like how did a person even get away with that? Like being able to do that and get out of the crowd, but come to find out, supposedly this guy was on a roof across the way. And somebody actually filmed him and questioned it. Well, we'll get into it. Let me just not give all that away. You guys probably already know that anyway.
And simply vanish. Well, almost. I'm Harris Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner Focus. New video shows an individual on the rooftop at Utah Valley University, where Charlie Kirk was speaking and then assassinated. State officials with more details on the man on the roof.
What I don't understand about that is we know all the attempts that's been happening to these conservative speakers over the last decade or so, especially amplified over the last couple of months or year or so. And this person saw somebody up there and he questioned it, but he did not do anything or say anything. That stuff like that amazes me. If you know what's been going on with these speakers and these political figures, especially somebody like Charlie Kirk, who had a big hand in helping President Trump get reelected again. There's no way I could have saw that and not. What's going on, Rick Dixon? Thank everybody who stopped by. There's no way I could have saw that and not said anything, even if it was just like a "yo, what's going on," or trying to get somebody attention to that. Ah, man, that imagine being this person filming this, making note of it, but not saying anything.
The subject arrived on campus shortly away from campus.
Thank you, Killer.
He tracked his movements onto the campus, through the stairwells, up to the roof, across the roof to a shooting location.
Normally can see that on.
After the shooting, we were able to track his movements as he moved to the other side of the building, jumped off of the building, and fled off of the campus and into a neighborhood.
Utah Governor Spencer Cox delivered an emotional message to the entire nation in the wake of the tragic assassination.
This is a dark day for our state. It's a tragic day for our nation. And I want to be very clear that this is a political assassination. Charlie believed in the power of free speech and debate to shape ideas and to persuade people. He comes on college campuses and he debates. That is foundational to the formation of our country, to our most basic constitutional rights.
Yeah, I don't.
And when someone takes the life of a person,
the guy, I don't know if you watched the video of the guy, but he clearly said, he made note of, he's like, yo, there's a person up there. And I guess that he didn't think it was as urgent as it was, because you can tell that he had some kind of concern about it, but it wasn't, I guess it wasn't enough for him to say anything. I'm not sure, but we know that that was he didn't have any like federal protection on this event. He didn't have any security up there, so, or any police presence, pretty much like being his personal security. So why would you not say anything about that? Like, what would you? Oh, it was just a guy. What would you think he was sweeping off the roof? I don't get it. And you can't. I mean, I can't really 100% blame him, but you just think like, what would you do if you were in that situation? I don't think I could have not said anything, knowing that that was Charlie Kirk over there doing that, and this guy had a clear line of sight to him. Like, no.
Because of their ideas or their ideals, then that very constitutional foundation is threatened. Nothing I say can unite us as a country. Nothing I can say right now can fix what is broken. Nothing I can say can bring back Charlie Kirk. Our hearts are broken. We mourn with his wife, his children, his family, his friends. We mourn as a nation.
CB Cotton is in Orem, Utah. CB.
No, speak your mind. We're probably thinking the same thing you're thinking.
Hi, Harris. Well, right now, FBI agents say they have images and video of the suspect. They're not sharing any of this material with the public at this time, but instead, they're suggesting they're using all of this content to closely track the suspect.
The suspect blended in well with a college institution. We're not releasing any details right now, and we will soon. But right now we're not. But that individual appears to be of college age. We are confident in our abilities to track that individual.
Agents say the shooter got on campus less than an hour before assassinating 31-year-old Charlie Kirk, who was visiting Utah Valley University in Orem, about an hour away from Salt Lake City. The FBI says the gunman used the building's stairwells to get up on the roof and fired that fatal shot from about 200 yards away.
Not only that, like, how do he even get to the top of the building without anybody noticing? Like, is there just a ladder that you can crawl up on the outside of the building or something? Did he go inside the building and get access to a door to get to the roof? Like what are the actual facts on how he got on top of the roof, and how do an average person just get to the top of that roof? Like, I don't get that part either. Hopefully, we'll get some answers about that later. The vice president shipped his casket back home to Arizona, so they're probably gonna have like I know they had a visual here last night. I'm about 30 minutes away from the Turning Point USA headquarters, and there were a lot of people out there that just just celebrating his life last night and mourning his death. So this is a good thing they sent him back home, and I'm pretty sure there'll be a big send off for this hero, man.
Sending the crowd of about 3,000 people into sheer panic. The FBI special agent in charge of the Bureau's Salt Lake City office said at the news conference today that agents recovered a high-powered bolt-action rifle in a wooded area where the shooter had fled. The FBI laboratory will analyze this weapon. A young fan telling us he is still in disbelief by what he saw yesterday.
It sounded like a 4th of July popper that you can throw on the ground. I heard and everybody just started ducking. I look over at Charlie and he put his hands up like this and falls back in his chair, and people catch him.
Harris, the sense I'm getting here on the ground is that investigators know a lot about who this suspect is.
I saw that, but I'm saying
at this point a matter of figuring out where he is.
Okay, I got
Back over to you.
CB, thank you very much. Darren.
But you would think that in especially a business like that, you don't want nobody on top of your roof. Especially since it's a liability for you to have a lawsuit if something was to happen on top of that roof. So normally, even in hotels, you can't get to that top floor without some kind of access or being locked off or something. Like, is it just free for all? Anybody can just go stand on top of that roof? Like, I don't. That's kind of weird to me. That's weird.
Porcher, former NYPD lieutenant and U.S. Army veteran, is with me now. You and I have done police specials and whatnot together, and we are very forensic. And when we take a look at something like this, I look forward to doing that with you now. So what are the forensics of what we've learned so far, and what do they tell you?
Well, there's a lot that we have to unpack. One of the first things is police were able to identify the entrance and the exit of the shooting. This is paramount because they've now captured facial images as to who the shooter may be. And when we go back to the Boston Marathon bombing, that's when we saw crowdsourcing information that was used as it relates to facial recognition. It's manifested 10 times since then. But this is paramount as it relates to how police are going to be able to identify who.
I think it's gonna turn out being the picture that I saw looked like it was a college age student, maybe like early 20s, 21, 22, something like that, maybe even younger. I think it's gonna be somebody that attends school there, and surprisingly that they haven't been able to identify him. But also, now that I think about that, I don't think that he attends school there, because that's too big of a risk for him. Unless he just really just didn't care, he wanted to go out like as a martyr. I don't see him fleeing if that was the case. This guy Um, this guy was definitely trying to get away. So yeah, I don't think that's going to end up being a person that goes to that school. Maybe from another school, but I don't think that that guy went to that school. Initially, I thought that he may have been hired by bigger like bigger political figures or the powers to be to do this. And I still have a feeling that it's going to be somebody tied to somebody that's higher up because average citizen, even if I hate you, I can't stand you, I'm not going to get on top of a roof to assassinate you. Like that like it was fast. Like he knew exactly what to do. He got his shots off. He lined up one shot and he was out of there. Like that's fishy. Like he's been trained by somebody. Yeah, and then the other thing is either he knew exactly where Charlie was going to be sitting or being at like the area. Either he knew that ahead of time, because if not, then they should have him walking around that area looking for the perfect spot to sit at to actually take that shot at Charlie. I don't see a person just going straight there to that roof and knowing that he's going to have that line of sight to Charlie. I don't get it. I don't that doesn't line up. Like either you knew that ahead of time or you were actively scouting um place to go to after you saw where he was already. Like no.
The shooter is. In addition to that, we're going to look for DNA evidence because the shooter laid down on that roof, and it's impossible for you to enter or exit a location without leaving a trace of DNA. It could be skin fragments, hair samples, etc. So right now, law enforcement has a lot, and you have the triangulation between federal law enforcement, state law enforcement, local law enforcement, and they're going to work in tandem in sharing this information to ensure that we bring this violent assailant into custody.
Like,
Well, law
what are you
enforcement was doing what they do so well. They were looking for people known to them. The first
rules as a
older gentleman I
security
know
detail
from
and
talking
police
with people like
officers in the
Jason
area,
Chaffetz and others in
you should
Utah
always be looking
who
at
have
that.
said, well, he
What's going
shows
on,
up to
White? So how you
political
doing?
rallies. The guy's kind of a loudmouth, blah, blah, blah. He was already on their radar, hasn't done any harm, but
if you're chasing
Thank you
more
for the bits,
unique
White, so I
sounds in
appreciate you.
2025,
Thank
you need this plugin. This is
All
reimagined.
right. Yeah, I guess that's a good
that
time
was the
to
first person we saw
go
picked
to
up.
so Brett saw that Brett Cooper. Thanks for liking the live as well, White. So Brett Cooper finally made her statement about it. I don't know if you guys actually watch Brett Cooper. I watch her every now and again. I don't watch her as much as I watch Candace, but Brett Cooper is very, very popular in her space as well, and on her commentary. She used to work for with Ben Shapiro. I can't think of the name of that company now, that little news outlet, media outlet. But yeah, we're gonna see what she had to say. I guess she's giving like her blessings and wishes off to Charlie Kirk as well. So let's move over to see what she has to say.
Hi guys. This is a video that I did not expect to be making today. It's a video I didn't expect to make ever. But obviously I did not feel right just releasing a maternity leave episode today, and I didn't even feel right not putting anything on the channel when there's so much to be said, and we are deeply mourning as a country. I'm not sure if I even have the right things to say today, but I'm going to try to express what I'm feeling, and what some of you might be feeling as well. But I'm sure you know by now that Charlie Kirk was assassinated yesterday on September 10th. He was doing one of his college events in Utah, and he was shot from what they're saying was over 200 yards away. There are videos that are circulating online. They are absolutely horrific. This doesn't look like it was something that was haphazard. was a clean shot. This individual was clearly trained in some capacity. Reports say that he was airlifted to a hospital and they did emergency surgery, but with where the bullet entered him, he would have just lost too much blood. You know, I've said this before, but one of the most incredible things when you meet somebody who has a big online presence or is a prolific individual is when they are just, like when you meet them in person, that they are just the way that they portray themselves online. And that was Charlie. There's so many people in this world, in this movement that I have met that do live up to their online, personas. There are many who do not, unfortunately, and Charlie was one of the ones.
But what's crazy is like I've never met him in person. I was going to go to the event that they had here during like the presidential campaign, um, and just by watching this guy on social media and YouTube, you can tell that. Thank you for the bits over there, gals. I appreciate you, brother. You can tell that this guy was exactly the way that he speaks. Like I saw him a lot on the whatever podcast and the way that he tried to be respectful while telling people the reason that he think the way that he thinks, and you can just tell that that's the way that he was like in life. And man, it's sad that that happened had to happen to him like that. Um, damn. And the craziest thing is that people like Brett Cooper and Officer Tatum and Shapiro, um, and Candace, especially Candace Owens and Carson Tucker, all those people that give out their opinions that not so popular with the beliefs of these crazy liberals or anybody else that just don't like the things that they say, they are in the same kind of danger. So I'm hoping that um they take their security up way, way high. Because yeah, I don't think that if a person to reach out and touch Charlie like that, I don't think that it's away from them to try and touch another one of these creators that have the influence that these people have. Because right now, when it comes to having the influence, Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens by far are some of the most influential podcasters or media personalities or journalists in general um, right now. Like nobody, I don't think nobody gets as big as them. Even though you have people like Joe Rogan and you have Carson Tucker that have like these big shows. When it comes to pure influence, people like Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens are the top two that comes to my mind. And then you can talk. Then you get into like the Matt Walshes and the Brett Coopers and the other um, commentators. But yeah, like I really hope that Candace takes her security like way, way up after this.
Did. He was an incredible friend and mentor to so many people. He gave so many individuals their starts. He was incredibly generous with his support and his resources. I mean, we have seen, stories come out of the woodwork over the past 24 hours of, messages that Charlie had sent people dating back 10 years, offering support, wanting to collaborate with them, finding people on TikTok, people, students who had been canceled, offering them a lending hand. He truly went out of his way to do good and to support good people who are trying to do good things in the world.
All right, so I think that's just her basically just telling her side of how she feels about it. If you guys want to watch the rest of this video, just go over to her channel. I don't want to get copyright stricken because I'm just now learning how to operate with this YouTube world of showing other like updates and news reports. And I've been getting some emails from TikTok and YouTube saying that I'm going to be getting some copyright strikes if I don't figure it out here soon. So we're going to go to another update. It just came out maybe about 45, 50 minutes ago. I haven't listened to this yet, so we'll be listening to it together.
A couple in New York, we are coming on your air because we are about to get an update on something many people are paying attention to, the investigation into the murder, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, that highly influential conservative activist who was gunned down yesterday while he was at an event, holding an event at Utah Valley University. Thousands in attendance. Now, as far as we know, the person who shot him is still at large, but we are hoping to learn more right now. It is about 7:14 a.m. in Utah, very early for a press conference. This could be substantial, so let's listen in.
Participating in a student-sponsored event with Turning Point USA. Charlie was shot at that event. He was transported to a local hospital where he later passed. Last night, his body was moved to the state office of the medical examiner. We will continue to facilitate movements to get him home today and with his family. Yesterday, during the investigative process, we located a couple of persons of interest. We interviewed those individuals, and after releasing them and after clearing them of being suspects, they face scrutiny, they face threats imposed into those people and that investigative process. They don't deserve that harassment for being subject to that.
Well, they're wondering why people are responding to these people that they apprehended like that. Like you cannot make a mistake like that, or you cannot do something like that and expect people to not respond a certain way. And now all these people are giving these guys like death threats and all this other stuff. One of those guys, he kind of like, it was self-inflicted on him because he tried to act like he actually was a shooter by saying that he would actually do it again. I'm not really sure if he was trying to run cover for the person that actually did it, if they knew each other or anything like that. But when the police apprehended him like that in front of everybody, yeah, you of course people are gonna have feelings about that and gonna respond a certain way. So I'm not surprised that he's getting those death threats. It's unfortunate, but I'm not surprised.
I'd like to thank all the investigators that are involved in this. They have worked around the clock, all day yesterday, through the night last night. Investigators from the State Bureau of Investigations, from county, from city agencies, the university, our federal partners with the FBI, the ATF, and many others. Those are just a few of the people that we have involved in this. I'd like to thank all of them for their strong work. Through all that work last night, we were able to make a few breakthroughs. We were able to track the movements of the shooter. Starting at 11:52 a.m., this subject arrived on campus, shortly away from campus. We have tracked his movements onto the campus, through the stairwells, up to the roof, across the roof to a shooting location.
Oh, there's no reason they shouldn't catch him then.
After the shooting, we were able to track his movements as he moved to the other side of the building, jumped off of the building, and fled off of the campus and into a neighborhood. Our investigators have worked through those neighborhoods, contacting anybody they can with doorbell cameras, witnesses, and have thoroughly worked through those communities, trying to identify any leads. We do have good video footage of this individual. We are not going to release that at this time. We are working through some technologies and some ways to identify this individual. If we are unsuccessful, we will reach out to you as the media and we will push that publicly to help us identify them.
So
but we
this
are
is
confident
not the most recent
in our
update
ability.
then, because the last one I saw was that they actually was reaching out to people asking for help. They put out the person's face, so I'm going to find that in a second. We'll continue to watch this right now, but I'll find it and I'll put it up.
Right now, and we would like to move forward in a manner that keeps everyone safe and moves this process appropriately. Last night I communicated with Erica. The family's devastated. As a commissioner of public safety, as a father, as a husband, I can only imagine what that family's going through. The heinous event that happened yesterday is not Utah. This is not what we're known for. Over the past several weeks, we've seen this state come together to help families in mourning, come together as a community to show what Utah is known for a state of character, of service, of camaraderie,
What's going on,
of
John?
a
How you doing,
neighboring
brother?
feel. We will not stand for what happened yesterday. We are exhausting every lead. We have every officer invested in this, every investigator, every local agency. The outpouring of support from the law enforcement community has been astounding. We are investing everything we have into this, and we will catch this individual.
With all the information
Having
they have,
walked
they
through
have
the
no
crime
choice but
scene,
to find
through the
him.
hallways of this
No way he
school,
cannot find
through the
this guy.
classrooms, I can't imagine what the people on scene felt as well. A horrific event where some of them barricaded in classrooms, some of them ran in fear. Can't overstate the tragedy and the horrific event that yesterday was, and how we will work to bring to justice the actions of one individual or any other individuals that assisted in that.
Okay, fix that because you don't really
Our state
know
has
if it's
gone
just
through a
one person.
lot, and we will come out successful. With that, I'll turn the time over to Special State in charge.
Good morning. My name is Robert Bowles, and I am the Special Agent in charge of the Salt Lake Field Office. Following yesterday's tragic shooting of Charlie Kirk, FBI agents have been working around the clock in coordination with our law enforcement partners. We are and will continue to work nonstop until we find the person that has committed this heinous crime and find out why they did it. This morning I can tell you that we have recovered what we believe is the weapon that was used in yesterday's shooting. It is a high-powered bolt-action rifle. That rifle was recovered in a wooded area where the shooter had fled. So the FBI laboratory will be analyzing this weapon. Investigators have also collected footwear impression, a palm print, and forearm imprints for analysis. Now, I understand there are a lot of questions about motive. I assure you that all leads, tips are being fully investigated. As of this morning, we have received more than 130 tips. We thank the community for that. The FBI has brought every resource to bear, and we will continue to do so throughout the course of this investigation. The FBI's mission is to protect the American people. It's to uphold the Constitution of the United States. Any attack on the First Amendment is an attack on the very foundation of our democracy. That is why we will relentlessly pursue this case and the shooter until we find him. We also continue to grieve with the family and the community. It's our community. If you have any video or images from the shooting, we ask you to please submit them to our digital media tip website at www.fbi.gov/Utah Valley Shooting. You can also call the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI. We truly rely on the public's help in these types of cases, and no tip is too small or insignificant. Thank you.
There was an update
It was a mix of both. People
on this guy's face, the potential person's face, and the FBI.
One day after Charlie Kirk's shocking murder in broad daylight, his assassin is still on the loose. Now the FBI has released photos of a person of interest in the shooting, and they know how the gunman got into position and how he escaped.
We have tracked his movements onto the campus, through the stairwells, up to the roof, across the roof to a shooting location. After the shooting, we were able to track his movements as he fled off of the campus and into a neighborhood.
Officials also say they have images of the suspect and recovered the gun they believe was used in the shooting.
Investigators have also collected footwear impression, a palm print, and forearm imprints for analysis.
I will say this, that we've had attempt on President Trump's life, and we haven't heard any updates about this person. They had cell phones they didn't know how to get into. They don't know what the person is, his blood type. They don't know nothing about this person that attempted the assassination on President Trump. So this case is actually going to do one thing. It's going to let us know exactly how honest the FBI is, and also how competent the FBI is. Because if you're telling me you have all that information, you know how he got there, how he exited there, you have footprint impressions, which may not even be his, but you have that. You have this DNA supposedly from a forearm print. If you have all this stuff and you are unable to identify positively who this person is without any shot of a doubt, that leads me to believe that the FBI may not be as competent as we think they are. However, you can get you can pull up some stories that the FBI seem to know everything about rappers or that they do while they're not even around. They know exactly what a person said, how he said it when they weren't around. They know exactly what a person was wearing, even though he was inside of a door. Like they know all of this stuff when it comes to all these ordinary citizens. But when it comes to these high profile people, they seem to not know anything or know much, or they're slow to put out the information. So this is going to show us just how competent the FBI really is, or how truthful they are.
Campus police officers were working the event that about 3,000 people attended. They believe the shooter was on a nearby rooftop shooting down at Kirk.
There was one shot. We are staging at the front of the school.
Is on top of the building on the far north side, just east of the library, wearing jeans, black shirt, black vest.
Witnesses say the shooting is now raising new concerns about the rise of political violence in America.
It's just a really sad day for America, and it should be for everyone, no matter what side they fall in the political scheme.
Also new within the last few moments, Bill, the FBI is now offering a reward of up to $100,000 for information that leads to the ID and the arrest of the person or people behind the murder of Charlie Kirk.
And we've heard from lawmakers locally.
All right, guys. So there you have it. They have put out some pictures of the potential suspect in the shooting. I'll try to keep you guys updated and get back live on as it pertains to this story. Right now, I'm going to take a 2 or 3 minute pause, get my OBS set up for transitioning to what's going on, Killer. I'm going to get my OBS set up to transition into Delta Force and ABI for now. But if I get any updates while I'm gaming, I'll switch it over and give that information out while I'm gaming. So I'll see you guys here within the next 5 or 10 minutes, maybe sooner, depending on how OBS decides to act. I'll see you soon.